I've always done photography, and my freshman year I was an art major and I was going to concentrate in photography, and I decided to take darkroom, and it was just a fun way of taking photos. It's very different than like digital and DSLR stuff. For film, it's much more hands-on. With digital, you're working with Photoshop, you're cleaning up exposures in Photoshop or Lightroom, and obviously like you're working with the computer, you're working with a camera that has buttons and screens in different settings. But with film, there's only like one exposure setting and like maybe 3 toggles that you like mess with. And then if you're wanting to change exposure and how things look, you have to go into the darkroom and change all those settings with like a whole nother machine. And if you want to like dodge or burn, there's different tactics to do that. So it's much more like hands-on. You get 36 frames in one film reel. You get like basically one chance to like get all the shots you need. You get a reel, you go into a dark room, and you put it all in the reel. Then you put the reel into a separate container where you mix 3 different chemicals, and then it's like 10 to 5 minute increments of switching between these chemicals and washing them out. And then you'll take the reel out, I think a day later, and take the tape out, let it dry, and then once that's complete, we put them into contact sheets. Once you have that contact sheet, you can kind of pick out which photo you want to print, expose, and like develop. So then you'll go into the darkroom again with the red lighting and use this big like projector basically to project it onto film paper, and then you go in, do the chemical exposures again, and then yeah, it's a pretty lengthy process. With DSLR, like there's so many different settings that you can mess with, like there's aperture and exposure and shutter speed, but with film you can only stick to one ISO, and you kind of change aperture and not even really shutter speed. The product is just going to come out differently. Film is definitely something I want to keep, just like if I want to try to do something different, if I want to step away from DSLR a little bit, if I'm getting bored with it, like I think it's super cool, and it's such a different, like, yes, it's photography, but in that it's like a different medium. You can get like totally different outcomes with it. My best advice is just to do it, literally, and be okay with being uncomfortable in some scenarios. So yeah.